The Galactic Council Hall was vast and cold, filled with floating lights and curved seats made for many kinds of beings. Delegates from 100 worlds had gathered to judge the newest creation from Earth. At the center of the hall stood Earth's prototype, simple in shape, rough in metal, and silent. Many aliens began to laugh. Some clicked their jaws, some flashed mocking colors, others spoke loud words of insult. They had expected something powerful, something shining, something advanced. Instead they saw old metal plates, thick wires, and a design that looked almost human-made. "This is Earth's best," one alien commander said with open laughter. "Is this a relic or a weapon?" another asked. The council room filled with noise and shame. Earth's representatives stood still, their faces tight, their hands clenched. At the edge of the hall stood a human mechanic. He wore a simple suit stained with oil and dust. His hands were rough from years of work. He did not speak, he did not laugh, he only watched. The prototype was not pretty. It had no glowing core, no sharp alien edges. But every bolt was placed with care, every plate had purpose. The mechanic knew this, even if the galaxy did not. The council leader raised a long arm and called for silence. "Earth's prototype is outdated and weak," the leader said. "The council sees no value in this design." More laughter followed, louder than before. The human mechanic lowered his eyes. Not in shame, but in patience. He had seen this before. Humans were often laughed at before they were feared. As the council prepared to move on, a sudden alarm cut through the hall. A sharp signal echoed across every translator. An emergency call from the outer war zones. A dragon warrior ship was damaged and drifting. The room changed instantly. The laughter stopped, replaced by fear and distance. Dragon warriors were powerful and proud. But they were also dangerous to help. Many delegates turned away. Some whispered that it was not their problem. Others said the warrior was already lost. No one wanted to risk their ships or soldiers. The signal repeated, weaker this time. The dragon warrior was injured, his systems failing. His enemies were close. Time was running out. The council hesitated. Helping him could start a war. Ignoring him could end one alliance. Still, no one moved. Then the human mechanic stepped forward. His boots echoed softly on the floor. He did not ask for permission. He did not look at the council. Earth's delegates turned in shock. One tried to stop him. But the mechanic kept walking. His eyes were fixed on the damaged signal. "He is only a mechanic," an alien voice mocked. "What can he do?" another laughed. But the human did not stop. He reached the prototype and placed his hand on its cold metal. The machine responded with a low hum. Not loud, not bright, but steady. The mechanic whispered a few simple commands. Words only humans used. Systems came online one by one. Old systems, yes, but reliable. Built to survive, not to impress. The prototype stood taller. The council watched in silence now. No laughter, no insults. Only confusion. The human mechanic climbed into the control frame. As the prototype turned toward the emergency signal, the mechanic's face was calm. But his eyes held something deep. Memory, duty, and something unfinished. Far away, the dragon warrior waited in the dark. Injured and alone. Unaware that help was coming. Unaware that Earth, once laughed at, had begun to move. The prototype moved through space with slow and steady power. It did not shine like alien ships. It did not bend space or vanish into light. It simply pushed forward, strong and patient. Inside the control frame, the human mechanic worked in silence. Screens showed damage reports and weak signals. The dragon warrior's ship was barely holding together. Life signs were fading fast. The outer war zone was dark and broken. Burned ships floated like dead stars. Energy scars cut through space. This was a place where help rarely arrived in time. The dragon warrior's ship came into view. Its armor was cracked, its wings torn. Once proud and feared, now drifting and bleeding power. The signal pulsed weak and uneven. Other alien ships watched from far away. They stayed at a safe distance. No one wanted to get close to a wounded dragon warrior, especially not when enemies could return at any moment. The human mechanic guided the prototype closer. Warning lights flashed. Radiation levels were high. But he did not turn away. A voice came through the broken channel. Low, rough, and full of pain. "This area is dangerous," the dragon warrior said. "Leave before you are destroyed." The mechanic replied calmly, "I am here to help." His words were simple, but they carried weight. There was a pause. Dragon warriors were not used to hearing fear-free voices, especially from humans. Especially from someone flying such a simple machine. "You are weak," the dragon warrior said. "Your ship is outdated. You will die if you stay." The human mechanic did not argue. He moved the prototype into position. Mechanical arms extended slowly, locking onto the damaged hull. Enemy scanners flickered in the distance. Time was short. The mechanic opened his tool system. Not advanced alien tech, just human tools. He worked with fast hands and clear focus, sealing energy leaks, bypassing broken systems, using logic instead of power. The dragon warrior felt the ship stabilize. Power stopped bleeding away. Life support grew stronger. Confusion replaced pain. "How?" the dragon warrior asked. "This tech should not work." "It works because it must," the human answered. "Humans built things to last. Not to look beautiful, but to survive the worst moments." A sudden impact shook both ships. Enemy scouts had returned. Weapons charged in the distance. The situation turned deadly. The mechanic rerouted power. The prototype shifted position, placing itself between the dragon warrior and the threat. A silent shield made of metal and will. For the first time, the dragon warrior felt something new. Not fear, not pride, but trust. A damaged plate on the dragon warrior's armor cracked further. Sparks flew. The helmet seal broke slightly, revealing part of the face beneath. The human mechanic looked up. His hands froze in place. His breath stopped. He knew that face. The dragon warrior noticed the change. Noticed the sudden silence. "Human," he said slowly, "why do you stare?" The mechanic did not answer. Memories rushed through his mind. A past battle. A moment he never forgot. Enemy ships moved closer. Weapons fully charged. The moment of truth was near. And both of them felt it. The human mechanic finally spoke. In a low and shaken voice. "It can't be you," he said. But deep inside, he already knew. Part 3. The space around them felt heavy and silent. Enemy ships hovered closer, waiting for the right moment. Inside the damaged hull, the human mechanic stood frozen. His eyes locked on the face behind the cracked helmet. The dragon warrior sensed the change. Pain was still there, but something else rose with it. Recognition. A memory buried under years of war. The helmet shifted as emergency systems tried to seal the break. For a brief second, the face was clearer. Scaled skin marked by old scars. Eyes that once burned with rage, now filled with confusion. The human mechanic whispered a name. A name he had not spoken in many years. The sound was soft, almost lost in the hum of machines. But it was enough. The dragon warrior stiffened. That name carried weight. It belonged to a battle long past. A battlefield covered in fire and broken steel. A flash of memory hit them both. Humans and dragon warriors clashing in a brutal war. Explosions tearing the sky apart. Screams lost in smoke. Back then, the mechanic was not a mechanic. He was a soldier trying to survive. His unit was trapped, surrounded. Hope was almost gone. A dragon warrior had stood before him that day. Weapon raised, armor burning. But instead of striking, the warrior hesitated. A single moment that changed everything. That dragon warrior turned away, letting the human live. An act of mercy in a place with none. An act the human never forgot. The present rushed back in. Warning alarms screamed. Enemy ships locked their weapons. There was no more time for silence. The dragon warrior spoke first. His voice lower now, less sharp. "You survived," he said. A statement, not a question. "Because of you," the human answered. His hands slowly returned to his tools. The shock still in his eyes, but clarity growing in his mind. The dragon warrior breathed deeply, pain mixed with old guilt. "That choice made me an outcast," he said. "My people do not forgive mercy." Outside, energy blasts tore through space. The prototype shook under fire. Its armor held, barely. Each hit testing human design. The mechanic worked faster now, reinforcing joints, redirecting power, turning weakness into strength. "You should have let me die," the dragon warrior said. "Helping me brings danger to your world." The human looked up, his voice steady despite the chaos. "Humans do not forget who saves them," he said. "And we do not abandon those who show mercy." Enemy ships closed in, their weapons glowing bright. The prototype stood between them and the wounded warrior, a silent promise of protection. The dragon warrior felt something shift inside. Pride cracked, old beliefs questioned, a bond forming in fire and danger. He activated his remaining systems, not for attack, but to support the human machine. Two broken warriors, fighting as one. The enemy fleet prepared to strike. This battle would decide more than survival. It would decide trust. Between Earth and the stars. The enemy fleet fired without warning. Bright energy tore through the dark. The prototype absorbed the first impact. Metal screamed, but it did not break. Alarms echoed inside the frame. Damage warnings flashed red. The human mechanic tightened his grip, his voice calm as he spoke commands. The prototype moved forward. Not fast, not graceful, but strong. Every step calculated. Enemy ships circled like hunters. They expected panic. They expected retreat. They were wrong. The human rerouted power to the arms. Simple systems pushed beyond limits. Hydraulics locked. Plates reinforced. The prototype grabbed the nearest enemy ship, crushing its hull with raw force. No advanced weapon. Just pressure and strength. The Galaxy Watchers stared in shock. This was not how battles were fought anymore. No elegant beams. No silent kills. The Dragon Warrior saw the opening. Pain still burned. But pride returned. He unleashed what power he had left. Fire roared from his damaged cannons. Enemy ships broke apart. The battlefield turned chaotic. Fear replaced confidence. The prototype took hit after hit. Armor cracked. Systems strained. But it kept moving. The human mechanic adjusted. Learning from every strike. Adapting in real time. Human design at work. An enemy commander screamed orders, demanding retreat. It was too late. The tide had turned. The prototype planted itself in space, shielding the Dragon Warrior, becoming a wall, not built to flee. One enemy ship charged directly, weapons overloaded, ready to destroy everything, human and dragon alike. The mechanic saw the threat. He smiled faintly, and redirected all remaining power into one final move. The prototype surged forward, colliding head-on. Metal against energy, will against arrogance. The explosion lit the void. Debris scattered like stars. Silence followed, heavy and unreal. When the light faded, the prototype still stood, scarred and burning, but unbroken. The enemy fleet was gone, destroyed or fleeing. The war zone fell quiet, history shifting in that moment. The Dragon Warrior stared in awe. This machine should not exist, he said. Yet it stands. The human mechanic breathed out slowly. This is Earth's way, he answered. We build things to endure. Far away, the Galactic Council watched, No laughter now. Only disbelief. And the first spark of fear. The battlefield remained silent. Broken ships drifted slowly. The danger had passed. But the meaning of what happened had just begun. The prototype powered down to safe levels. Steam rose from cracked armor. Scars covered its frame. Each one a mark of survival. The Dragon Warrior's systems stabilized. Life support steady. Strength slowly returning. He stood taller now. Galactic Council ships finally moved closer. Careful and unsure. The same beings who once laughed. Now watched in silence. Council transmissions filled the space. Questions, demands, apologies. None of them sounded confident anymore. Earth was no longer invisible. The Dragon Warrior turned toward the Council channel. His voice strong despite his wounds. "This human world saved my life," he said. "Anyone who stands against them stands against me." Shock spread through the Council. A Dragon Warrior alliance was no small thing. Power shifted in that single statement. History bent. Earth's delegates listened quietly. Pride in their eyes. But no loud celebration. Humans did not need approval. The human mechanic stepped away from the controls. His work finished. His hands shaking slightly. The weight of the moment heavy. The Dragon Warrior faced him. Removed his damaged helmet fully. The face now clear. Not an enemy, not a monster, but a survivor. "You remembered," the warrior said. "Yes," the human replied. "I never forgot." There were no long speeches. No dramatic promises. Just understanding. Forged in battle. The Galactic Council finally spoke. Their tone changed. Earth's prototype will be re-evaluated, they said. Their methods deserve respect. The human mechanic turned away. He did not wait for praise. He did not seek a title. He had done his duty. As the prototype began its slow return, the stars seemed quieter, as if the galaxy itself was thinking, reconsidering old judgments. The Dragon Warrior watched Earth's machine leave, a new path opening in his mind, one where strength was not shown by beauty, but by endurance. Far beyond the council halls, whispers began to spread, about a simple human machine, that refused to fall. And on Earth, unknown to most, a truth had been proven. Humans did not need permission to matter. They earned their place.